I'm going to tell you how the Sanpera I pedal works with the Peavey Vypyr VIP 1 today. I've found that there are very few helpful videos on the Sanpera I pedal. There's a number of good videos that address the Peavey Vypyr series, but I'll show you how they work together. There's some things I really like about the amp. There's some things I like about the pedal, but I have more trouble with the pedal, and I'll try to make those things clear too, and so you can evaluate whether it's worth getting it or whether if you have one you want to use it to the fullest. The way this amplifier works is it has 4 banks. The banks are 2 electric amp models, a bass amp model, and acoustic model. Now, most of the time videos will tell you that you can only use the bass and the acoustic on the 2 acoustic amps, which are here, the Trace acoustic amp, the E acoustic amp, the Trace bass. So you basically can only set these up with those 4 amps, 2 for the bass, 2 for the acoustic guitar. However, if you read the manual carefully, you can hold down buttons B and D and turn on the amplifier, and then it frees up so that you can choose, say for example in your bass amp, you could choose any particular amp. So you'll notice that I can choose any amp with my bass amp setting there. Or with my acoustic, if you'll watch again, I freed it up by turning it on and holding down B and D. And so I can choose for these sets anything. So if I just want a pure acoustic amplifier, I could have basically 4 banks, A, B, C, D, and then 4 presets on each one. Now how do you get to the presets? You'll probably know this already if you have any experience. The presets, you simply click the button A, B, C, or D, and from the get-go, if you turn the amp off and turn it on, it starts with red. So the sequence is red, starts with red, orange, I guess they call this yellow, and green. And so you can have 4 settings for each one of those. Let me just show you a quick setup. Now I have my first one set up as an electric guitar. Pretty cleanish. So I'm playing the Paul Reed Smith SE Sac Myers. I have another video on that if you want to see more about the guitar. So this is the clean sound that I've set up. If I scroll to the next one, or I click to the next one, that's the orange. I have it set up with a little more dirty sound. Let me just show you how to set things up, and of course the next one, it's a little more intense. That's the way I set it up just for test purposes. But let's say we want to modify this one and want to make it something different. All we need to do is start moving things. So here is the instrument stomp box. So this is set at bypass now. If I wanted to make it, let's just say I wanted a chorus sound on it. So there's a chorus. Now notice this button, this green, this rotator knob, they've put in a lot of things with a few controls. So in order to do that, it looks a little more complex. So for example, each setting that has 2 components to it, you'll see this is compression and chorus. You'll notice if you turn it just one time, it goes from red to green, but it stays on the same one. So that's the same idea. Over here, if you get to this one, red, green, that means that one of them, the red one is the first one, the green one is the second one. So in this case, let's go compression and then chorus. So the green should be the chorus, and let's see if it is. Very much so, you can hear that. And now I can edit it. How do I edit it? I can press the button to edit, and now these controls, this P1 and P2 control the chorus effects. So usually it's the speed on the first dial and the intensity on the second dial. So if you turn it all the way up, you can hear the chorus sound. So let's put it in kind of a mid-range here. So let's just say I want my first thing to have chorus. I can also affect reverb level here if I wanted more reverb. Hear that? I can do delay, again, speed, depth of delay. Let's say I wanted a lot of depth. Okay, and I can also affect the tempo of that by this tap tempo. So now I should have, and I do. All right, I don't want that. I'm gonna roll that back quite a bit. Keep my reverb. Now it's still in edit mode. I'm editing this effect. It's all set. If I like that sound right there, then I'd be good. If I wanted to change an amplifier setting, I have this dial to do that. This dial will change an amplifier setting. So let's go to something. Let's go to the Buddha. That would be a nice clean sound. And here it is. Now you can affect pre-gain, post-gain, all this stuff on the amp. Let's say I wanted a little less pre-gain. Just like that. Okay, that sounds pretty good. But also, again, trying to get several parameters in one knob. This one works in this way. You'll notice that we're still looking at having just one thing per spot on the dial, but push 4 amp channel. So if you push it, you have 3 amp channels that are indicated by the color of the light. Green, orange, red. I don't know what they would do if somebody were colorblind, because this amplifier requires you to know those colors. But so the green amp is sort of the mildest, and then the setting will usually come with less pre-gain. The next one is a little more intense. You can hear that. Turn that down so I don't overdrive. And then the red is the most intense. And that, you know, of course, that works for every amplifier. 6505, famous amplifier. Definitely want to turn this down. So the green one is going to be the least intense. Green. Yeah, orange. More. Alright, so that's the idea. We were looking for clean sound. So maybe we want to go to just a clean sounding, let's go to a clean sounding classic. Right, there it is. So I'm going to go with the green channel, and now let's see what it sounds like. Pretty good. We'll keep it there. Now to save it, all one needs to do is press the button for that particular channel, if you will, or selection, and then hold it. And what will happen is 2 things will blink. These things will blink, and then hold it again, hold it down, and now it's saved. And so that setting is now saved. And you'll notice I've got the classic chosen, I've got the chorus chosen, and even if I change it a little bit, let's say I just mess up the knobs here, when I go back to it, now I'm back to the red, I'm back to the same thing. So I can affect this in real time, but the setting is saved. So that's how the amplifier works. The amplifier works this way. These 4 banks, 4 settings, and you can do that with every one of these colors. Red, starting with red, orange, yellow, green, and you can change that with all these, and you can go right on through. And as I said before, if you want to free up everything so that you can select any amplifier, any modeling amplifier for any bank, all you have to do is turn the power on with pressing B and D at the same time. Okay, so the way I have mine set up, by the way, is sort of an electric setup here with various intensities. The next one, like that. I have this one kind of similar. Then I have an acoustic setup. So my acoustics go, and this is an acoustic, by the way, this is an acoustic modeling instrument. So it actually turns my electric guitar into something more like an acoustic guitar. The next one I have set up slightly different. I think the next one I have a chorus on it. And the last one, a little more effect. I have a bass setting too. Down here with the bass, my first red bass thing is a bass model. It's actually a bass. It's using the listen to. Now let me talk about the way the pedal works. The pedal really has several functions on it. Aside from the expression pedal, which is just back up here. This is just a volume pedal. Until you press it all the way down, effort to get it there. And now, when it's on auxiliary mode, the expression pedal is a wah pedal. And a lot of people, there's a couple of videos about how to reset the sensitivity to that so that it changes easier or not. I haven't done that myself, but you can see I've stomped it and it's back to green. It seems like the setting's about right for me. I'm going to turn this way just a little bit so I can reach it easier. And so that's what that is. Aside from the pedal, the expression pedal, it seems to me there's three functions that this pedal brings to bear on the amplifier. The one that you need the pedal to get is the looper function. To get to the looper function, you hold the bottom two buttons down, and you can see the green two are at the top, and now this is the looper. So let's just do something simple. So that's the looper function. The really bad thing about this pedal, in my opinion, this is a real error in design, is that these switches, the clickers, are, first of all, they're super loud. Listen to how loud that is. This is really loud. You're playing in a small place, that's as loud as a drummer. That's ridiculous. And almost no other pedals I've ever had have those kinds of switches that require that loud click. I really do not like that. The other thing that's really bad about this particular looper, and makes me reconsider even purchasing the pedal, is that the looper doesn't work when you push the button down. It works when you let it up. Very bad design. So here's our loop. It's already still in there. You can see that there's a loop in there it shows you on the amplifier. If I want to restart that, I can just click it here. In other words, that button to the left, number 3, functions to restart the loop whenever you press it, as long as there's a loop inside. Button 4, if you hold it down, well, if you click it once, it turns it off. If you hold it down, it clears it. So now there's no loop. You can see there's no loop on the amplifier. So let me illustrate why the problem is clicking. When you click the button, when the button comes up, that's when it turns on the loop. It records the loop. Watch this. I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to stop playing, and then you're not going to hear any loop. Now I've held the button down, now I'm going to let it up. And it says there's a loop there. I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to play it. You don't hear anything. Why? Because I didn't let the button up. I'll do it again, and I'll play something different after I let the loop up, or after I let the button up. So you didn't hear the first. Okay, so you see the first part of it didn't record. So only when the button comes up does the recording start. That is very non-intuitive for someone that's used loopers for 20 years now. No other pedal does this. I don't know of any other pedal that records this way, and that's a big flaw in the design of this pedal. You can get over it. I mean, I've worked on it a bit. One of the other things that's kind of a problem is the buttons are so close to the expression pedal. Oftentimes when you're hitting the buttons, you'll lose your volume, like I just did. But anyway, you can certainly do that. That's how you do the loop. Let me show you the other function. And let's say we want to move from sound to sound with a loop. Let me just do again a little quick loop. Preset to preset, you have to get out of loop mode. Now this is very important. If you press any other button, nothing's going to happen. These two are going to operate the loop. That stops it, that starts it, that starts it at the beginning again. No other buttons happening until you go out of loop mode, which means press them again. Now you're out of loop mode, and now you'll notice one thing is lit up. If I light this up, what's going on, if you watch this, is we're moving from preset to preset within a bank. That's the first preset, that's the second preset, that's the third preset. You'll notice this one is the fourth and it's green. So it goes red, orange, yellow, green. You see that? So let's remember my first one is kind of a chorusy sound. Turn that up just a little bit so you can hear it. Alright, my second preset is a little more aggressive. Again, the vibe's not quite right to it. My third one's a little more aggressive. I can change this all with this. So you can see I can change that. Now I can go back into loop mode. I can stop the loop. Okay? So that, if that makes sense. So in other words, once you go out of loop mode, you are in changing preset mode. Whatever bank you choose, it does it. Let me show you that. I can choose a bank and then go from there. So I'm in loop mode, I have to go out of loop mode. This is something nobody has told us thus far. Now where you can see, we're back at 1, 2 changes, but let's just suppose I want to go to my next bank. There it is. Now, it's going to change it in that bank. So now, 1 is here, 2 is in the B bank, 3 bank, 4 bank. Okay, back to loop mode. Here's what I haven't seen anybody explain, and certainly not in the manual as far as I can see, is that you can change from bank to bank with this pedal. So we'll call the 1, 2, 3, 4 things here as presets, and these are banks A, B, C, and D. Can you change from A, B, C, and D with the pedal? Yes, you can. When you go out of loop mode, again, you have to go into loop mode and you have to go out of loop mode. Now we're out of loop mode, as you can see. It's changing and so forth. If I want to go from change banks, I hold down the top 2 again and it blinks. Do you see the blinking? And then it's blinking, it's telling you we're going to be able to change banks. So let's say you want to change to bank acoustic, number 3. Then I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to press it again to get a preset there. Now I'm in bank C. So, in my expression pedal. And now I can change through the 4 colors of the presets. So whatever preset you have in C, you can walk right through them now. Go back into loop mode if you want. Record a loop. There it is. And if I leave loop mode, now I'm changing in bank C. My acoustic mode. So I can actually create a loop, change banks, and then change within those. So a little complicated. My biggest challenge with this particular pedal is that the way the buttons work. I wish they were just soft buttons that you just press. There are lights on them after all. You can know whether, you don't need to hear the sound in order to know that this is turned on. And the biggest problem, as I said before, is that the looper does not record until the button comes up. And that is not the way most loopers work, and it's very difficult to get used to. So that's the way the Vypyr VIP1 works with the Sanpera I pedal. I hope this has been helpful to you. It's taken me a little while to figure this out myself. There's a lot more to the amp. There's a great USB import. You can go in and out with the USB. You can model, you can change the software on the inside. If you have a PC, by the way, there's no Mac software that lets you edit the settings with your computer. I tried it, and I'm a Mac guy. The auxiliary in works fine. The headphones, I've been told, I've actually not used the headphones, but I've been told it's very excellent quality for the headphones. So I recommend the amp. The pedal it's flawed in some ways. It works. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. I like the idea that you don't have to have a battery. You simply plug it in, MIDI cable. The MIDI cable gives it power, and so it remains to be seen if I'll continue to use the pedal. Hope that's been helpful.